Hello everybody, it's the Historical Gamer once again, and today we are returning to Ultimate General American Revolution, a game currently in early access on Steam, being made by the folks behind Game Labs, the folks behind Ultimate General Gettysburg, Ultimate General Civil War, Ultimate Admiral Age of Sail, the list goes on. But in today's video, we are going to be returning to our Let's Play Playing as the Americans. It is October of 1775, and quick recap. So, the war started, right? The British marched out of Boston. We fought the Battle of Lexington and Concord. We won that. And then we immediately launched an offensive against the British in Massachusetts and Connecticut. We took Newport, Providence, Middleborough. Then we flanked around Boston and took Salem. At that point, then we fought a series of battles around Boston, taking Boston from the British and driving the remnants of those forces out to Fort Stevens. At that point, we then moved west as the campaign map opened up, and we took Fort Saratoga, Fort Ticonderoga, and then moved south and took Fort Montgomery from the British, retaking Kingston in the process, which the British had taken from us. So we secured is this the Hudson River? Yeah, we secured the Hudson River Valley largely, at least up to Fort Frederick, which I believe is just south of the Canadian border and is still technically in the United States, I think. And then at that point, we moved east. We took Fort Rice, which the British had taken from us. Then we fought the Battle of Fort Stevens, where we obliterated the British Army that had withdrawn from Boston, and I believe we killed General Gage there, took Fort Lovell, and took Hubbardton from the British. We have just taken Burlington, and we are on our way to invading Canada as the winter approaches, which seems like a smart thing to do. So we're going to be moving with about 2,600 troops out of Burlington toward Fort St. John, which our intelligence says the British have 1,000 men here. They certainly could have additional troops at Fort Chambly or Montreal. In fact, they almost certainly do, which may outnumber us. We started the campaign with 4,200 troops. We lost 700 to desertion when we could not pay their salaries because the greedy, money-grubbing capitalists of the army apparently are not freedom-loving folks enough, or at least those 700 weren't. And that was the biggest loss of our troops. We lost about 600 casualties. We lost about 700 deserters. And so we're down to around 2,700 troops at the moment as we embark on the assault on Fort St. John's. Now, 2,600 troops is not going to be enough to take St. John's, Chambly, Montreal, and then push toward Trois-Rivières and Quebec, which are all objectives of ours. However, what we hope to do is we hope to take Fort St. John, which is kind of in a rough supply situation. These green lines represent supply lines. If we take Chambly, or actually I guess if we take St. John, there will be no direct supply line. So we are bringing our supplies with us. We do have a wagon coming with... Oh, shoot, no. My whole intro just got interrupted. All right. So we are bringing supplies with us. We are bringing 40 provisions in the supply wagon with the army as it moves toward Fort St. John. And so that is something that hopefully is sufficient to allow us to take St. John and maintain the force in decent supply. What we will then do is once we take St. John, we will garrison it with a considerable force, maybe 1,000 men, and then move south on Fort Frederick, which our last intelligence had about 1,200 British troops at Fort Frederick. So we'll move about 1,200 of our own troops south, or maybe 1,000 of our own troops south, and then they will link up with about 1,500 or so troops that are going to come up from Fort Saratoga and Ticonderoga so that we can catch the enemy at Frederick from two sides, outnumbered more than 2 to 1, and defeat them there. At that point, once Fort Frederick is defeated, we will have probably 600 free troops. Like, I do want to leave these forts garrisoned because the map will expand west when the New York campaign starts. So I do want to leave some garrisons here. We are going to leave a garrison at Albany. We are going to leave a garrison probably down here at Montgomery. But we are moving troops around. We're moving troops from Fort Rice to garrison Hubbardton. We are moving the 500 troops from Hubbardton to garrison Burlington against an enemy assault out of Chambly or Montreal. And then we are going to likely move these 300 troops also up to Burlington as well, because I don't think it's likely the enemy would try and go straight to Hubbardton, although that is a risk, at least until Frederick is taken. But anyway, what I was saying is once we take St. John's, once we take Frederick, I think we'll have about 600 reinforcements from the Hudson River Valley forts that we can move force to join our army of 2,700, which is likely going to take casualties in the process, so hopefully those 600 reinforcements make good on that, and we stay at around 2,700 troops for the assault on Chambly and Montreal. I think the enemy has probably at least that many troops at either one or both of these two locations, but we'll just have to see how things play out. And that's about as far forward as I've planned. One other quick update that happened in the last play or last video or stream or whatever is Castine here in the north of Massachusetts. It did fall to the British. They assaulted that and overran the 300-man garrison there. So we did lose that fort, to British control. So that did impact our income. Our economy is not in great shape. We've only got 3,900 gold, and again, we already mentioned not being able to pay wages for our soldiers, leading to desertion. So that's something you got to be aware of. And yeah, we have increased the garrison at Falmouth because of that assault at Castine to make sure the enemy doesn't move south from Fort St. George while our main army is in the west. So we have increased the garrison at Falmouth to around 1,000 men. We also have another 500 men south at Portsmouth. I'd like to keep troops on most of the coastal towns to prevent any coastal raids from, taking cities away from us for free. But then we also have 400 troops in the mountains at Lyman as well. So all told, if the enemy moves out of St. George, we do have about 2,000 soldiers, and then another 500 in Boston. So we could bring about 2,500 troops together. We don't have a commander to lead them, which we might have to race our own officer east. That kind of goes to the headquarters objective. We're working on Army Innovation 2. Army Innovation 2 will open up a new general slot, so we will be able to have 2 field commanders. Right now we're limited to 1. And then we can assign either Artemis Ward, who is, I think, currently doing quartermaster duty, wagon duty, chief engineer duty. He's a very good officer, but Artemis Ward is currently the chief engineer of the army. We could put him in command of an army as well, or we could use Benedict Arnold, who will be given to us with this tech tree innovation. We will get Benedict Arnold as well, so we could send him into the field. It's kind of funny because Artemis Ward is a very good staff officer. Benedict Arnold, I would assume, if this is historically accurate, would not be a very good staff officer. So we could give him command of an army as well. But that's what we're working on right now, and we're kind of running a thin ship when it comes to income and budget and all of that stuff. It might actually make sense to slow down or reduce the number of factories that we're using. So actually, we go to production menu here. We're making 74 muskets a day. That's with 2 extra factories. So if we reduce that production, does it make sense to save a little bit of money? Right now we're spending 189 gold for 9 factories. So if I lower that to 8, what was that, 189? So it drops it to, 155. So that saves me 34 gold. How much does it impact production? All right, so we're at 69 muskets per day. We lose 5 muskets by shutting down 1 factory. That's it? I will gladly do that to save 34 gold. We do need the muskets, but... Anyway, so we are going to move on Fort St. John now. Let's just jump right into it, huh? And while we will not outnumber the enemy 2-1 if they don't bring reinforcements, which is an if, we also, if the enemy bring any reinforcements from Chambly or Montreal, we may not outnumber them. But even if we are attacking, outnumber them almost 3-1. Again, it's a fort. It's a level 2 fort, so it's not going to be quite as easy to take as some of the recent battles that we had at Lovell or Stevens, which were both level 1 forts. This is a level 2, which is what Saratoga was. So that's something to kind of keep in mind. I got to keep the wagon closer to the main body this time just to make sure that the enemy doesn't poach us. There's only 500 men at Chambly, so that's a good thing to learn. Thank you very much for the follow, Abstract Yeti. So we're going to move, hopefully on St. John, pretty quick here. There are 2,000 men at Montreal, so I was right. There's a strong force in the area, but only one of them, so that gives them about 2,700. So their force at Chambly and Montreal basically equals our own. So we've got to destroy Fort St. John before any reinforcements can come down here. Also, they've got 500 troops on the march. So all told, that's 3,100 troops north of St. John, with another 1,000 at St. John. That gives them math. That gives them math is hard. 3,100, 4,100. So they got 4,100 to our 2,700 men in this general vicinity, plus another 1,200 down here. So they got 5,900 troops. The key is going to be to defeat them in detail, which we will endeavor to do. Let's go ahead and jump in. Now, this will probably be a slow battle. I don't envision wanting to launch a frontal assault with that many enemy troops nearby, especially with the fact that we have no direct supply line or, like, you know, easy direction to fall back to. So we will probably fall back on using our batteries of artillery to pound the enemy while we keep our infantry at arm's distance. So this may not be the most exciting battle to watch, but I do think it is the approach we've got to follow to maintain our army as a force in being. And also should be a pretty effective one to, you know, win the battle, I would think. Although I do wonder how effective our artillery will be, just because we are going to be fighting an enemy with a better fort. You know, our artillery was pretty effective at demolishing the previous forts we fought, but those were all forts where the enemy only had a level 1 fort. I haven't tried to completely subdue a level 2 fort quite yet, so we will see how that plays out. Trying to merge these smaller companies so that if we do get engaged in a musket battle, we've got sufficient firepower to deal with the enemy. Is everybody merged who can merge? Not quite. Alright, so that should be everybody. Pound them good. That's what she said. Yeah. So let's consolidate our troops in this. The other thing with this battle is, looks like we've got a kind of an evening battle. It's after 5 o'clock in bad light. So these are the battles where these woods can be a death sentence to your troops. So you got to be careful because the enemy can sneak up on you real good. To that end, let's actually do this. Let's put our main body in this wood line here where they can remain hopefully hidden. And then we're going to move our artillery over to the right flank. We'll keep some infantry over there in case the enemy sallies forth or has some troops outside the fort. But let's try and concentrate all of our artillery on the right flank. We've got 5 batteries. While our infantry stays heavier on the left. I don't imagine the enemy's going to want to attack us, given the... You can see the strength up here. Red is them, blue is us, but... It's a rainstorm, great. Right, these guys are all hidden in this wood line. Who is not hidden? These guys are not hidden. Jesus. I would have thought they would have been hidden. Alright, let's see if our artillery can... I'd like to be able to see the enemy artillery, which is shooting at me. Can I lay these guys down? I thought there used to be a command to lay down. Maybe that was just an Age of Sail. Alright, good. So what I really want to do is I don't really want to battle it out with their infantry quite yet. I want to hit their artillery. So let's see if we can do that. I want to try and drive their men off their guns first. We could probably break through the fort, but the goal has to be counter battery first, I think. Now, they are in a level 2 fort, so they've got an interior which is stone, which probably gives them a considerable advantage. Are these Hessians on the front? They look like it. Alright, Alright, let's do this. Let's divide these troops up. Actually, some of them stay hidden. Let's go ahead and try and get a little bit of intel. Maybe I'll move a handful of these troops forward so they can see what I'm shooting at. Maybe have a better chance of winning that artillery duel so we're not just getting hit. Hey guys. Please be hidden. You guys are good troops. See, we're doing quite a bit of damage to the enemy fort here. The wall's breaking down already. I don't know how effective my artillery can be against theirs. I'm assuming some of these guns have to shift so they can get in range. Looks like they are moving a little bit. But winning with artillery fire is going to be more of a challenge if we can't. I guess we'll see what happens here. Doing a little bit of damage. I think we're losing more than we're getting, though. It's hard to keep track because none of these units started at full strength. Where are you going? You really got to get that close? So 79, 81, 72, 83, and 58. Yeah, that artillery fire is not... I didn't do anything with that salvo? Fuck. We did no damage to those enemy guns. We might not have a choice but to assault. Those stone walls are sure giving them a good amount of cover. I guess that should be expected. Alright, let me just hit one of my... Is this a good battery or a bad one? 3-pound gallopers. They're less good. Alright, switch your fire. Focus on the enemy infantry you can see. My artillery fire in previous attacks on forts has done a pretty damn good job of obliterating enemy troops, but those were level 1 forts where everything was wood. They were not stone forts. And you can see the wooden palisades here do not hold up very well to artillery fire. They're getting reduced pretty well. I don't know if I should really be doing this. Probably not. Alright, we're at 170. Let's see how our troops hold up. I like to draw the enemy artillery fire off of my infantry, or off my artillery. My infantry is valuable, my artillery is invaluable. Alright, those guys are going to pull back. We've already lost 20 men. The enemy's losing more, roughly. But, yeah. Alright, we've inflicted 2 casualties on that artillery battery to the rear. The enemy here, meanwhile, has lost, what, 50 men? Gotta think this section of the fort may actually become uninhabitable. That is something you can do. You can basically destroy a fort section. I've done it! Alright, so they've lost over 50 men. This isn't exactly the KD ratio I was hoping for, but it is... It exists, you know, it's not nothing. Alright, that artillery's still getting hit. Alright, you guys pull back. I don't want you engaging further. Don't love the idea of losing... Alright, so I think this section of fort was also destroyed because it doesn't look like I can occupy it with my infantry. Meanwhile, these gates I would think would be a little bit more vulnerable to artillery fire. Alright, this artillery has lost 15 men. 5, 11, 3, 8. Those are not good numbers. I just don't know how to pull back and be able to... The problem is I don't have a way to use my artillery so that they can't see me, but I can see them, I don't think. Alright, let's merge these guys. Go engage these guys. She lost about 40 men, that's okay. Maybe the merged company will draw the enemy artillery fire away. Maybe not. Poor Hessians. Oh, my artillerymen one of the batteries abandoned their guns. I'm not sure why they're retreating toward the enemy fort. They should really be running the other direction. Why are they not shooting? I feel like engagements of troops in forts is a little bit glitched. Okay. Alright, I'm thinking this gate's gonna be destroyed here in a second. And you know, one of the nice things, I guess, about the way that... Hey guys, don't retreat toward... I don't know who needs to tell you this, but you shouldn't retreat toward an enemy. If you're gonna retreat... It should be in the opposite direction of the enemy. Go engage these assholes, because I don't know why my artillery crew's running. I don't want them getting their asses destroyed. Apparently they want to fight. What the fuck? You guys are nuts. That company can recover and man their guns in the next battle if they don't get themselves completely shattered. Alright, let's do this. Let's keep pounding the right flank. We're low on ammo. We'll send our wagon out this way. Let's bring our troops forward here. We're going to try and push through. We should be able to force a 2-unit gap in their line pretty easily. And then we'll just hope that sheer weight of numbers will keep casualties low. I don't like... the direction this is going. Multiple artillery crews in danger of being routed. It's not a good start to this thing. Can't imagine the enemy will put up too much of a fight before electing to retreat. I hate fighting in bad weather. Oh, they're gonna shoot at my infantry now? Okay. There you go. They're shattered. Pull back now. Fall back. So this infantry with a little white flag, that means they're retreating from the battlefield. So they're not destroyed. They can rally in a future battle. But they will not fight again today. Maybe they can Alright, so this section of fort is now destroyed. So we're going to have all the artillery now fire on this unit, which I would think would get the benefit of being able to fire down their line. I would think there's an option to sort of enfilade the position. If I can knock out these 3 forward fort sections, the enemy will get a lot less benefit of defending here. And then when I move up here, these troops in the rear are still kind of glued to their positions, so we may actually have a fire superiority situation where we have a bunch of units attacking where the enemy is not, you know, able to bring many of their guns to bear. But actually, I should just go. I'm just sitting here and taking artillery fire. We should move the men. We should move the men into the fort. We've got a two section breach already. That should be enough. We outnumber them almost 3 to 1. We can get right up on this parapet and then fire at the enemy artillery just beyond. Usually artillery doesn't stand up well to musketry fire in forts. They do much better in the open field for some strange reason. Alright, shoot at those guys. Also, once we're in the fort, they will lose some of their advantage anyway. Alright, fire on these guys. Alright, so they are routing from the field. Good news. Our infantry is up on the wall, firing at the enemy artillery. I don't know why they're shooting out of the fort, my boys. Hey guys, be careful with the friendly fire. Shooting over the top of your own men is very risky. Alright, one of my units is being pushed back. Alright, we drove one of the batteries off their guns. And shattered them. Drove that infantry back. Alright, we drove the other battery off their guns. Shattered that other artillery unit too. Bring our boys inside the fort. Should be ours now. Half of our force wasn't even engaged. Wasn't quite as clean as I would prefer, really, but... Oh shit, they just got routed. Oh, now they're retreating. Alright, so a good chunk of the enemy force will make it out for another battle, which is not what I was hoping. I was hoping to destroy more, but... Alright, at least we got the light infantry. And we got the artillery, which I suppose is probably the most important thing. Let's see if we can move our artillery up here. And wagons to try and take supplies from the depot. We'll go ahead and move our boys up double quick. Or double the speed. Alright, there isn't much in the magazine. It looks like the fort didn't have much ammo. True, thank you for the follow. This is the first assault of the night boulder. We are attacking I forgot the name of the fort, but it's St. John's, is it? The northernmost fort in sort of the Hudson River Valley, I guess. All right. So we only lost 214 men. That wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. So 200 casualties and 1 gun. The enemy lost 1,007, or sorry, the enemy lost 505 guns out of 1,000 men. So they did lose half their force. The artillery did its job, broke the way open, then the mass of troops went through and overwhelmed them when they could only fire a couple of regiments at us at a time, while we had more than that firing at them. All right, so let's see what's going to happen here. These boys are still moving forward. All right, nice. So actually, one of the regiments just straight up surrendered. Thank you, Rhode Island. The burning of Falmouth. A fleet of Royal Navy vessels attacked the town of Falmouth. 400 buildings and houses were damaged or destroyed. Where's Falmouth again? I know Falmouth, England. All right, so 200 of their men escaped out of 1,000. I will take that. Those are good numbers. Now take the fort, boys. Okay, so there's a lot more troops coming. It looks like they've got almost, they'll have 2,200 at Montreal and 2,200 at Chambly. We will at least have a fort, and it looks like our supply wagon is completely full. Thanks to the spoils that we got. Okay, so we have 2,400 troops at St. John's. That was an objective. We took the fort and gained a number of valuable artillery and musket pieces that will surely aid our cause. 12-pound field guns. I've never seen those. Siege guns. Nice. I don't know about Loyalist Boulder. I think right now they're just British. I think the game will have Loyalists, but I don't know when. 600 brown besses, that's nice. And 5 reputation. I will take it. All right, so we took St. John's. Again, this is always a bit of a dicey situation because taking St. John's is nice and great, but we are unsupplied. We need to take Frederick to get St. John's back into supply. There's also the risk that Burlington is not garrisoned at the moment, and that is, you know, Chambly could drive. So they could make a move in that direction. That being said, Aspera has arrived, so we will put them in Burlington. So we have a militia regiment in Burlington now. I think we'll move Noel north. I was going to leave Noel in Hubbardton, but I don't know. I guess it makes sense to leave him there until Frederick falls, just in case. Okay, we've shifted a bunch of troops around. Everybody's in their new garrisons. Okay. 12-pound field guns. Ooh, that could be nice for the next assault on an enemy fort. All right, not enough resources to produce. Gotcha. 22 days on Army Innovation 2. 11 days on Secret Committee. Construction in Fort St. John's repaired. Where did those POWs go anyway? You know what'd be nice is POWs automatically go to your nearest friendly base that you have. But it'd be nice if you could order POWs to move around, because they effectively act as free labor for you. But if I could move them, you know, if I could choose where they go, that would be helpful. All right, so St. John's has 2,400 troops. Not enough muskets. Oh, that's right, you got Spanish 55s because I was so generous to you. All right, let's do this. Let's swap the Charleville out with brown besses, which we have 1,200 of in our arsenal. And frankly, let's just give this whole regiment brown besses. Just all right. So everybody here has brown besses, or in that regiment. This regiment also already has all brown besses. Brown besses. We'll give this guy a United States, since the rest of the regiment already had those. All right, so everybody in my field army at Fort St. John's has weapons that are better than civilian muskets. Which is useful. Okay, so this unit at Ticonderoga probably will fight a battle. So I think it makes sense for us to give them better weapons. So we're also building up our civilian musket stockpile by all these moving of units, weapons around. And that is actually good too, because the enemy, we have other units that need reinforcements that have civilian muskets. What do these guys have? Why are they... Well, they have civilian muskets. Is there any... There are recruits waiting in Ticonderoga. So let's give it... Oh, there's another tribe over here. Who are these guys? The Scanetti? We don't have great relations with them. All right. It's not bad. We're not at war, but... Okay. So let's wait till October 20th and see what the enemy does. And let's see if we can draw any reinforcements. So these guys are 15, 20, 24, 35. Let's see what happens on the next day. All right, nice. So Ticonderoga pulled reinforcements. So now we have 1,800 troops at Ticonderoga. That will aid in our drive north. Okay. And then I think what we will do is we're going to need to leave some troops at Fort St. John's to prevent the enemy from moving in behind us and you know, dealing us some hurt. But let's do this. Let's pull these two regular regiments. Pull 3 regular regiments. We'll leave 1,100 men behind to garrison the fort. And we will take form them into a brigade. Move them south to Fort Frederick while we leave 1,100 men behind. Hopefully that's enough to dissuade these 4,400 British troops from assaulting us. Give me a little bit less artillery power against Frederick, but Frederick's only a level 1 fort. Meanwhile, we'll move the 1,800 militia north from Ticonderoga. We won't leave Ticonderoga completely ungarrisoned, but we will. All right, there's 500 more troops coming forward. Where are they going to? I think they're going to Chambly. All right, so let's go ahead and pull my commander out. He's gonna ride south quickly. All right, so the enemy has about equal number with my regulars up here in the north. So let's hold Stark here. I don't want to move him in on his own. We want the 1,800 troops from the south to aid this battle. Why are these troops not here yet? Why are they not? I'm confused of what's going on here. Shouldn't they all be in the same... How close do they have to get? Just outside the range. There's like 2 separate battles going on here. Okay, they've arrived. Or they should arrive. They're almost in the wing there. They're considered reinforcements. I don't trust the AI to fight a melee here, even if they outnumber them 3-1, so let's just jump in. I don't know if my militia will be here immediately or if they'll show up later. The British, for what it's worth, Boulder, the British aren't all one troop type. There are at least 2. They've got sort of riflemen, too, or skirmishers, or whatever. All right, so let's swing the camera around. So until my militia show up, which they goddamn better well show up, don't pull a Grouchy on me, we are fighting basically an even fight. The saving grace for us is all of our troops are well equipped, all of our troops are regulars, and all of our troops are fresh-ish, I guess. Right, so the enemy is over here. They're probably going to come out of the fort, too. This is a level 1 fort. I suppose being a fort could actually work in our advantage in that some of the enemy troops will probably stay behind as garrison. I'm at the very edge of this map, interestingly enough, so I can kind of sort of make out what's on the map here, but let's move our troops. It looks like good weather at least, so despite the heavy woods, we should be in line of sight with the enemy. 3 batteries of artillery. That artillery into the field. That's off to the flank and move this commander over here. So we should be getting away from the edge of the map here. Again, hopefully my reinforcements show up soon. It's already 1700 hours, so it is an afternoon battle. You would think the reinforcements would come from behind the edge of the map. We will see. I kind of assumed the redcoats would come at me out of the fort. They're usually pretty aggressive on the battlefield, but maybe not. Maybe they'll stick back by the fortifications. That would be the sound thing to do. Wait for the enemy to come to you. This wood line here worries me. Right here, they'd be a perfect ambush spot for them. There. Coming on the flank, boys. Did they only move their skirmishers forward? Because I'm okay with that. Oh, my reinforcements have shown up. We'll take a look at them in a moment. Okay. Alright, boys, coming on the other side. Enemy light troops are routing from the map. Is artillery firing? What is this noise? Yep, yep. Alright, artillery. Form up over here. You're gonna try to reduce the enemy fort. We're gonna try and get them in a cordon. We'll put some of these troops in these woods to the flank. Put some troops over here, so inevitably when they run, we will be able to cut them down. We're going to set up sort of a hammer anvil situation. I don't want to deal with these enemy troops, you know, posing a threat to us on the strategic map. I want to wipe them out. The militia here. One nice touch. Militia units carry their state flag, I guess, or their militia flag, which is different from regular units, which don't seem to carry a flag, but I think when they do, it's usually a continental flag. I'm confused by the artillery fire I keep hearing, because I don't see anything. So who's shooting at who? Also, do they not have any defensive artillery? It doesn't look like it. That artillery there probably is me, but... Oh, no. Where's this artillery coming down from? I don't see the guns, at the very least. Oh, there they are. Here. In and amongst the tents. Alright, artillery, you all fire at the lead enemy infantry unit, I guess. Do we ever... We don't have our wagon with us, do we? Gonna have to be careful with that if they start popping me off with... The fort's too small for all their troops. Meanwhile, my militia are still rolling up here. I'd rather, if we're going to launch an assault, launch it with the militia than my regulars. You'd think my artillery would be getting pretty nice experience with as much of as I've been using them in this campaign, right? Alright, actually, since we can see the enemy guns, let's target them. Three-pounders, 6-pounders, 4-pounders. Maybe you can at least kill the morale of the enemy artillerymen. And I know earlier you did ask if there's different types of enemy infantry. They do have Hessian mercenaries too. I don't know that they really play any different, but that is a thing. Dude, if you're in this fort, you gotta be like, we're fucked. The enemy has more artillery than us, heavier artillery than us. We're surrounded, and look at the mass of militia coming in. They do have canister, yes. When you get close, you see kind of a shotgun type effect. At range like this, it's just solid shot, but when you do get close, artillery can become pretty damn deadly. I don't think there's explosive shot. I don't think for anything. I don't know if any Were there any howitzers that would have had explosive shot in the war? I'm not sure. But I don't think there are any in the game. Pull back here a little bit. Right, we're pounding that enemy artillery good. It's a slow process beating down an enemy battery, but it can be done. Especially because your artillerymen get tired so damn fast. Where are these guys going? Oh, that's new. I saw something in a patch note about having a strategic view on the tactical battle. At least I think this is new. Where you've got like kind of a top-down view. I don't know that I'd really want to fight this way, but that's different. Interesting that the enemy artillery is oh, there's another battery here. They got two. They got an 84. They have 2 batteries of artillery. That is not. Are they trying to initiate their death? Why does it look like this graphic, this artillery is just shooting up into the sky? These guys have civilian muskets, so they will not be as efficient, but what they lack for in quality, hopefully they make up for here in quantity. Alright, if they want to march one of their regiments out and engage me, I will oblige that. As my artillery beats down one of their batteries, or tries to. It looks like they're shooting straight up and then the rounds are coming down. Like they're using frickin' mortars. I don't think they have mortars, though. I don't see any guns, though. Oh, they do have mortars! Those are mortars! Look at those things! I've never seen that before. Okay. I've never seen mortars in this game. Shit. They don't seem to be super effective yet, but... Alright, I guess our militia's launching a general assault, so our other infantry on the other side can do so as well. I think the enemy morale will probably break pretty quick. Also, it looks like we've destroyed the front fortifications here, or maybe not quite, but I don't see enemy infantry there, so I guess we'll just fight these guys. Oh, shit. I don't know if they're doing much in the way of casualties, but the mortars sure impact morale. These guys broke pretty easy. The enemy gunners surrendered before I even got in on their lines. Oh, they unsurrendered. It's always weird to me when troops surrender while they're still in their own lines like this, and they just get immediately recaptured. They're not recaptured, but liberated? I don't know what you want to call it. Got to try and quickly get them back into your own lines. So they don't get liberated by their own men. If you really want them to be POWs. There you go. We should bag a lot of these bastards. We took, I think, more casualties than I wanted in the march up. Most of those, I think, were in the militia. But they've broken now. This is like almost... It's gonna be a weird analogy. It's almost like a police stop where like the officers got their like hand on their gun and they're like, come to me. You know, I'm gonna stay here and you come to me with your hands up. Like that's how I feel like these POWs are right now. Where it's like they're still amongst a threat. So you gotta like... Whatever. Alright, so is that everybody? They all dead? We get everybody? Should allow me to send all these troops back north to deal with the Montreal situation. Everybody get into the fort, get resupplied. It is weird that is a thing. Yep, 41% supply in this fort, so it is worthwhile getting the boys in there. Everybody, get ammo. They need to make it automatic. Maybe it is. I haven't looked at it closely enough. But since my wagon isn't with me, I don't want to take the chance that I miss out on anything. Captured weapons is not automatic, so that's why my gut tells me it's not, but I might be wrong. And they're resupplied, they're resupplied. Alright. That's it, I think. Oh, not these guys. Yeah, everybody should be ammoed up. So you can see we fought this battle with a total of 3,000 troops when our 1,800 reserves arrived. Or militia. We lost 274 men. The enemy, on the other hand, lost 722 casualties and 7 guns. They also had 361 men captured, and that is all but 100 men in their army were destroyed. So, good result there. Bazook the Gamer, thank you for the follow 15 minutes ago. True 11, thank you for the follow. I think Abstract Yeti, I already thanked you. Alright, so let's play through this till the fort falls. We'll go ahead and have these guys camp. Where are you going? Take the damn fort, militia. Do you not know what you're doing? Abandoned property. Nope, I need the support of New Yorkers. The burning of Falmouth was an outrage exceeding in barbarity and cruelty. More than 400 buildings and houses are recorded as damaged or destroyed by fire. Give them $5 grand. Negative 20 massive. Oh my God. So if I don't give them $5 grand, I am going to lose a lot of support in Massachusetts. You could alternatively give them textiles and provisions. But I can't lose that much support, so. Alright, there you have it, boys. The preparations for the invasion of Canada are nearly complete with the victory at Fort Frederick. In our next episode, we'll see how things progress from there. But we've been going for almost an hour, so that's where we'll wrap things up. I hope you guys are enjoying this series. Let me know your thoughts below. And until next time, as always, this is the Historical Gamer saying thank you for watching, and I'm out.